1470 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles.
All right. We're going to talk about your eyes, and I always throw in my eyes in these conversations. Nikki and Shannon are here from Ocala Eye, and the phone number here is 622-9622 if you'd like to ask a question about your eye care. Maybe you need something as simple as eye drops and you're just not sure what to get, or maybe something as serious and maybe a little bit nerve-wracking as surgery. It could be cataracts, or maybe you don't even know you have them. It's possible. I didn't know I had them, and apparently I do. So good morning, ladies. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you both.
Good to see you too. Literally.
It is literal. I said to the camera who's this morning, you have improved my quality of life.
Yes.
And I've also been a big shot now. I'm a big shot.
You're a big shot.
I am a big shot. Yes. Because we'll be looking at the TV, and she can't read it anymore.
Oh.
And I'll say, you can't read that? I can read that. How come you can't read that?
That's right.
I'm a big shot.
You are. That's right.
So
it makes a difference.
Now it's Miss Robin's turn.
Yeah.
But it really does fix things when you can see better, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
You don't
It does
even
change
realize
people's
it.
quality of life.
Don't
They
even realize it, you know? But I'm the old man now without the glass. That's the thing I'm afraid of. Like, we were thinking about renting a canoe. And I thought, what if the glasses fall off in the water? Well, you can dive to the bottom. No, I've lost things in the river before, and you can't find them.
No, they go. That current, they're gone.
Yeah. So that means another pair needs to be in my possession somewhere, right?
You probably should have a backup pair.
Do you guys
That's
do
always
that?
a good idea.
Is that what do you do that? Or?
I have several pairs of glasses just because they're accessories for me, but I mean...
So what would somebody do if they just wanted to get another pair? Just come on in and say, can you match this? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay.
Well, your prescription's on file, so...
In my case, it is. But I'm thinking maybe some people don't, or maybe they're visiting.
Yeah, they can, so they just have to have an up-to-date prescription. A prescription's only valid for a year, so they can bring it from wherever.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. And can you tell from looking at the glasses what the prescription is? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
They can read the prescription off of it.
And can you do it while they wait? Because you don't want to leave the glasses there. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. Wow. Have you ever looked at like the prescription of like ancient guys like Benjamin Franklin? What
I don't know.
I don't know. I know that isn't he the one that invented bifocals? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he invented bifocals. So I don't know what his
how did they do it back then?
I don't know.
How did they grind glass back? Well, all
have
they had
no
was
idea.
a horse and
I don't know.
and a stone.
They had
no
fire.
idea.
Found a way.
They had
I'm not
fire.
sure. Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
I don't know.
Did you see the story about the boy who looked into the laser beam and burnt a hole in his retina? I think it was the retina, yeah.
No.
Sad.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
And it said that normally when that happens, as if it happens a lot, they can surgically repair it. Have you ever heard that?
It probably depends on what
I should have
actually
printed it
did
up.
to it.
I should have printed
I
it up.
guess it depends on where it falls in the retina. Yeah, where it was injured.
And I'm guessing that's like a...
What type of what was he doing?
One of those toys that you play with the cat? You know, one of those things?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Those little laser pointers.
He put it up to his eye. I was looking at it like right there.
Seems like those shouldn't be that powerful to be able to do that.
Let me find it.
I'll have to look into that.
I should have printed it up. Let me see if I can find it. I'm looking at the news all morning today.
Because it seems like that's what a little kid would want to do first.
I know. And
Their parents should not let them have that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they had no idea the potential for that could happen with that little cat toy. I mean, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have either. I wouldn't have even thought that it would have been dangerous for my child at all.
But they're fun. I mean, cats love that.
Oh my gosh, they love
My
them.
son's dog loves that toy because you sit there and you get it on the ground and
That
it
is
tries to
fun,
trap
too.
It,
It kicks in their prey drive and they just want to chase it.
have you ever seen the videos where somebody puts a cucumber
Yes.
behind
Yes. I haven't tried that. I should try it with
That's
mine.
really funny. I haven't tried it.
I don't know. It just makes me laugh. It's a great thing, right?
Cats are entertaining.
I don't see
My
that.
cat's already crazy.
Do animals have peripherals like humans do?
Yes.
Oh, they do? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they got...
And are their pupils the same shape or are they different?
No. They fall into a different category than we do.
Category.
Here
Here it is. This is 5 days ago, this story. Laser pointer burns hole in boy's retina. And you ladies know what you're looking at.
Did.
You
Yeah.
see the picture right there?
It's right
So what does that tell you right there?
in
That
his
little-
macula.
Right up under his macula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you even know what that means.
So luckily it didn't get the dead center of his vision.
Right, which is where you see from.
Yeah.
Oh,
Your
see,
boy
I-
in Greece
wow.
permanently injured the left eye when he repeatedly gazed into a laser.
So he was
Look
very
at you.
lucky.
So I wonder
can
if
read
they
that
just
from there.
kind of sealed that area off.
Yeah.
Is what they did probably.
Will he have the potential to go blind because of that?
I don't know,
See,
but I wouldn't
macular
think
holes-
so. Not from where it is.
It says macular holes are typically treated with surgery that is accompanied with an almost 100% risk of cataract formation.
And that's just from the power of the laser that they use to.
So help me understand, where's the... So I said retina, I was wrong. It's the macular.
Well, the macula is in the retina. The retina is right. That the retina is
okay.
the whole back part of your eye.
Okay.
The whole back.
The macula is the very center.
The
of
macula
that.
is, yes.
But I
That's-
thought
that's where
the-
you see.
And I thought cataracts happened in the lens.
They do.
So
But
what...
the laser has to travel through that part of your eye to get to the back of the eye.
Which is why, and this goes back to a conversation you guys had on the air a long time ago, the importance of sunglasses.
And UV protection.
Wow.
So if that laser would have damaged the part of the eye where he saw, could you have cut that part out and put a lens in there?
No,
from
if
the
that part's
cataracts?
damaged, it's damaged. There's no, you can't
Oh.
repair that.
Oh, okay. So even what you do with cataracts, there has to still be something there in the eye to see with. Otherwise,
Correct. If the back
cataract-
part of that eye is damaged, it kind of takes away your ability to be able to make things clear or focus them clearly, regardless of what you do elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
Is children's eye care a different doctor? Is that like a
Yes.
pediatrician or something? Okay.
Is pediatric ophthalmologist.
And is that
usually.
in Ocala Eye?
Optometrists usually handle kids a lot too. I mean, as long as they don't have any health issues, but
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
kids who have any kind of, probably really high prescription or anything like that, they're usually going to be referred to a pediatric ophthalmologist to be followed.
We've heard that there's wet macular degeneration and dry. What exactly is the difference for that?
The dry macular degeneration is not a bleeding form of macular degeneration. The wet form is the one where the vessels, things start to leak and such back there. So they have to go in and we have injections that they can do that will stop that from happening, and it helps prevent further vision loss from occurring whenever that happens. But the dry form is more of just like a deterioration of the back part of the eye.
Oh, and you can't stop that? Can you stop it to
You
not
can't
have
really
people go
stop
blind?
it. No, it's a slow. In most cases, it's a slower progression. Nutrition is what kind of wards that off and helping to slow some of that down. Good nutrition with certain vitamins and green leafy vegetables and that sort of thing. But the wet is kind of a different animal. You have to treat that with injections to stop those leaks from going on back there.
Do you need surgery for that too sometimes?
Not usually. The injections themselves are normally what's, they are formulated really just to attack only the leaky blood vessels, because once it's bleeding back there, it's damaged that tissue wherever it's bled from. So that's irreversible damage. So what they're trying to accomplish is to keep more blood vessels from leaking and to stop the current ones from leaking, so it limits the amount of damage that it does actually cause.
There's been a lot of headway with the injections that they do now for wet macular degeneration. Used to, the go-to for that was a laser, but once you shoot a laser into that portion, that part of the retina is kind of done. With the injections, that's preventable from having
It's one
that
of the
happen.
things they're still, fervently working on trying to find, things that can help
There's so many
patients for.
things.
There's so many drug studies
There is.
for that right now, because it's just one of the things that is so prominent as a problem in eye care that we don't really have a cure for. There's
Especially
no
in
real-
retina, and with our retina clinic. Wet macular degeneration is probably one of the most things they treat.
Is that right?
my.
And then you going back to the nutritional part of that. We had a guest who was talking about the problem with being a vegan is that you don't get B12, and one of the things was eye problems can happen if you don't get B12. So they have B12 supplements, I guess.
They do.
Yeah. Have you ever had somebody coming in and they don't even realize that they've chosen a lifestyle? Are either of you vegetarians or
No.
vegans? No. Okay, but if you
No, I like my meat.
Carnivores.
Yeah.
I'm a vegetarian. Every time we speak to a vegetarian,
Oh.
I am, because by the time we're done with the interview, I say to Rob, you know what? I think I'm going to try this. Not the vegan
I
thing.
don't even know that I mean, my dad's been a cattle farmer my whole entire
Oh,
life,
really?
so I wouldn't even.
But it lasts only till lunch, and that. So it never really takes off. But
Yeah.
we'll talk to. I mean, it makes sense. You look at these books; they got these beautiful recipes. Now, vegan, I couldn't do because you can't have cheese.
Or fish.
Yeah,
I think anything that comes from an animal,
Cheese
you
is a
can't
weakness.
have with vegan.
Oh yeah.
I would starve to death. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
But nutritionally, they say B12 is necessary, and those are like 20 things that could go wrong. Memory can go wrong. I can't remember all the things that could go wrong, but one of them was vision problems from B12. So, and you don't need much. Apparently, you just need a little bit a day, and then you'll be fine.
But see, you don't normally have to go into that conversation with people because they're normally getting it from their
Right. Hamburgers.
food. Yeah. So.
But nutrition is a touchy subject, though, because
Yes.
people don't like to be told they're not doing something right. But in your profession,
It's like a
when they
religion.
come to see you, they're more apt to accept what you say.
Yeah.
I think they are. I think especially if it's coming from the physician, and
Yeah.
they're kind of letting them know that some of the problems that they're having, are kind of attached to medical issues that they have. That some of it they can help or lessen the
Diabetes
effects
being
of.
probably the biggest one.
When a person comes in for an eye exam and you know they're on blood pressure medication, do you take their blood pressure to see if it's high or not? And then,
Not normally, no.
does that affect the eyesight at the time they have their eye exam?
Long periods of high blood pressure can affect your eye. There's hypertensive retinopathy that can happen in the back of the eye. But if their blood pressure is just elevated just that visit, they're probably not going to have any vision changes from it. Like, they won't know that that's what
Oh.
they're having high blood pressure just from their vision.
It's amazing how you guys know as much as a doctor. I mean, it's amazing, really.
Not really.
Need a raise.
No, sometimes I think I know, and then I'll present it
really?
to one of our physicians, and then he's like, maybe you shouldn't jump to
We
conclusions.
learn something new every day.
I'm a little dangerous.
In this world, in the world of radio, it's very low on the totem pole of what you need to know compared to what you need to know. I mean, you kind of higher. And yet that we're constantly learning things. It's amazing. We've been doing it for so many years, and yet there's always something, I didn't know that. As you learn something new, does that happen in your world? It has to happen.
Yes.
All the time.
Daily sometimes. I mean, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
So does it ever happen with, like, doctors, for example? Do they ever say, gosh, I don't know what it is that's causing this, and then they have to actually ask lifestyle questions, for example? Like, what do you do at night? What could be causing this? Or, like, do you...
I think there's definitely a process of elimination
Yeah.
when they're trying to diagnose
Something going on?
something
Yeah.
specific for a patient that maybe didn't respond to the first course of treatment, maybe.
Chronic blepharitis or eye infections or something, trying to rule out what's causing this patient to have this chronic problem going on with their eyes, whether it be dry eyes or allergy, or is it something that you're in contact with, dermatitis, that's causing this,
Actually, I was on call this
triaging.
last weekend, and I had to come in both Saturday and Sunday to see a patient who she got a corneal ulcer from some sort of bacteria that she was introduced to, and that I had noticed in the assessment, the doctor had already done a pretty, like writing what types of water she had been exposed to. There was no filtered water. She hadn't been in this type of swimming pool. It was a saltwater pool. So he was doing his process of elimination for what might have been introduced to cause.
Did we ever tell you Robin had something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
So did she wear contacts?
I don't think I looked at her history to see if she was a contact lens wearer. Obviously, she's not in them right now, but
that was the end of Robin wearing contacts. She used to wear contacts all the time.
I would assume as a patient that's probably a pretty scary, rather than it being a painful thing, a scary thing to have to endure. I don't know that I would be really willing to jump back into contact lenses either, unless I was doing like daily lenses where I literally opened up a new pair, put them in, and threw them away that night, and they didn't really have a chance to grow anything.
Do you know, can I tell you a story that happened to my when Robin had the thing? My son had a very similar, or maybe even the same thing. I'm not an eye doctor, so I don't know if they had the same thing or not, but they both had something similar. So, and I took Alex to a different doctor. He was just a child at the time, right? And I told the doctor, well, Robin has something similar, and that doctor thinks it's from the Rainbow River. Remember?
Yeah.
Okay, so I said, couldn't it be possible he got it from the Rainbow River? No, he probably brushed against a tree branch. And I said, no, he would have told me he brushed against it. And then he pulled me aside. Kids don't always tell you everything. And I said, oh, come on.
Yeah.
He would have told me. Why wouldn't he tell me,
So he may not have realized he did it right at the time.
He had the same thing that you had going on?
Similar. Similar, but not as bad as what I had. Thank goodness for that.
But from a layperson's perspective, it seemed like it was the same exact thing. And it was at the exact same time. And all three of us had been in the river. So, and I didn't get it, thank God.
Well, and it's no different than getting, infections on your skin. They can be bacterial, they can be fungal.
Yeah.
He may have thought it was plant-based because it may have looked more like a fungal infection versus a bacterial infection.
God,
so
you don't know what's out there. There's so many things to worry about.
But cleanliness is so important, especially, you don't even think, washing your sheets. Maybe they should be washed like every 3 days or something like that. And your pillowcases, you shouldn't keep them a long time because you never know what happens when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
You're right. You do.
I've seen people that abuse contact lens wearing, and I'll lecture them, and I'm like, you really shouldn't. You need to take your contacts out every night. And they're like, oh, I've been doing this for so many years, and I'm like, okay, because I've seen so many times what can happen, and
bacteria, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like when it basically grows, like every 2 hours, it multiplies every 2 hours. So, it grows really quickly.
And for the most part, contact lens use is safe. There's so many people that are in contacts that do it the way they're supposed to do it, but seems like there's a lot that don't always do just what they're supposed to do as far as taking them out at night and cleaning them and not sleeping in them. And your eyes need that break. They need the oxygen, even though the quality of the contact lenses are made to breathe so that you can get oxygen. It's not like not having them in.
How do you help people that have a glass eye when they come in to get their prescription done? Do you still look behind it and everything to make sure that it's
not normally? Usually a oculoplastics doctor will take care of those patients more often than not. But there's a specific person called an ocularist that actually fits those scleral shell prosthetic eyes to the patient's socket. So for the most part, the main things they have to worry about is just irritation, inflammation, infection in the actual socket itself.
We'll take the glass eye out and...
Oh, you will?
Oh, yeah. Polish it right on up. Let the doctor look at the muscles and everything in there that's conforming it and seeing if there's any infection. Yeah.
And then you put it back. Does the person with a glass eye take it out every day too when they're sleeping, or is it a permanent thing?
They can take it out.
Yeah,
there's a little suction.
Yeah, they have a little
suction thing.
Does it make a sound?
Oh,
it does.
Not really. And a lot of times I would ask the patient, do you want to take this out or do you want me to take it out? Normally I don't put it back in. They like to do it themselves, you know, but sometimes they do want us to take it out, and yeah, so we do.
Oh
Put
my
it in a
gosh.
napkin,
Oh man.
clean it off.
Oh man.
Nice.
Is that what they use at Madame Tussauds? Is like, does she take a shortcut instead of having to make an eye? She just goes and buys them,
I don't know.
right?
I don't know.
That's what I would do if I was Madame Tussauds.
Aren't they crafted though? I mean, to
They
fit
are.
an individual
They're hand painted.
person?
Oh,
They
yeah.
are hand painted.
And I'll be honest with you, I've seen a lot of people that have had an eye enucleated. That's whenever they take the eye out and have to have an artificial eye put in. Unless you know, were seeing that patient before and you didn't know their history, you would never know.
Some of them are incredible.
We actually had a veteran used to come in here, and he's since passed away, but he had a fake eye, and it followed the other eye, and you couldn't even tell it was fake.
There is some muscle still left back there that can move slightly. No, it won't move as much as your other eye, of course, because the muscle's not attached to it, but it can very subtly move. It's really not as noticeable as it used to be.
No, they do an amazing job with them.
So they can still drive then. I mean, when you go to get
As long
your
as they have
driver's license,
legal
you
driving
gotta-
vision on that eye.
Oh, okay. That's pretty
They're good eye.
fascinating stuff.
Yep.
And they get acclimated to life. I mean, things for them is different. They don't have the same depth perception that someone with two eyes has. So, you know, they learn to kind of deal with that. Stairs, sidewalks, you know, how close you are to something, things like that. It's just lifestyle change for them.
Do you ladies have 4th of July plans?
I do, actually. I have family coming into town from Oklahoma that I
Oklahoma?
haven't seen in about
Is that
20
where you grew up?
years. No, he's
I thought
stationed
you grew
there.
up in Williston.
He's stationed there in Tulsa.
Oh, okay.
I actually grew up in Ocala. I just went to Williston and graduated.
Okay.
So.
Now, how about the movies when you go to those big screens and you see the 3D or that other kind of movie? Is that bad for the eyes?
I haven't
I mean,
heard
on
that
the
it
whole.
is. I don't like it.
I don't either. It makes me feel motion sick.
I don't
Yeah.
like it.
But I don't.
do. Yeah.
And you also do ears. That's,
do,
That's
hearing.
very, very fascinating. You do hearing tests over there. Is that standard when you have an eye exam, or do you have to request that?
Well, I don't know that the patients necessarily have to request it. I know that, you know, the techs can sometimes tell just by their interaction with the patient whether or not they're hearing as well as they should be hearing. And, you know, they may mention or have the doctor mention that we do complimentary hearing screenings, you know, just as part of a service to our patients for them to come in and just get a baseline to see where they're at and let the hearing specialist take it from there.
And when you come in for a regular eye exam, you look behind the eye to see infections or anything. If a person's blind, do they still need to do that?
They do still perform annual eye health exams. If they know that they're to a point where nothing's going to help that vision come back, I mean, it's still important to make sure that the eye health is maintained.
Because you don't
Especially
want
for the other eye.
Right. You don't want things to continue to deteriorate where the eye gets so sick that you have to have it taken out.
Oh,
Because that
yeah.
can
We have.
happen, you know, with eyes that either the pressure's high and, you know, the patient may not know it because they can't see anything and it's not causing them any pain or problems. And, you know.
We have one segment we do in the morning where we just read the news. We don't comment on it. We don't try to be silly. Sometimes the stories are silly, but you know we get letters from people who are blind who can't read the newspaper, and so that's why they listen to us.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
that's
We have
very cool.
Yeah, it's the only time of the day I know that we have been told specifically that we have a visually impaired audience, and you know, for that
Wow.
25 minutes, yeah.
That is good
That's
to
really
know.
cool. That's
I know.
awesome.
I know. Gosh, I was going to tell you something. Oh, years ago I knew this guy, and he had a band, and it was a Christian band. So he wanted to call it, well, God Incorporated. See, and if you reverse it, God Incorporated is CNI Dog, and so he called his band CNI Dog. Isn't that great? Isn't that a great name?
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Isn't that
That's
a clever
pretty
name?
funny, yes.
Yeah. So I was thought, well, of all the band names, that's an awesome name.
CNI.
He's out there somewhere in Ocala.
Ah, that's pretty funny. Creative.
I like that.
Yeah.
The big takeaway from this show is hopefully you enjoy the conversation, but more importantly, if you have a need to have your eyes checked, if you need your vision repaired, just go to Ocala Eye. They treated me so wonderfully and literally changed my way of life. I can read things from a distance that Robin can't read, and I could see the mile marker signs on the interstate, which was one of the first things I wanted to try, because I couldn't believe I couldn't see them. You know,
I love hearing that.
Yeah. Well, can I tell you the backstory to that? Do I have a second here? Do you mind if I just go over time a little bit? Okay. All right. Do you ever go to the Keys?
It's been a while.
Everything is mile marker.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You know, Joe's Oyster Bar is mile marker 127 or whatever, right? It's all mile marker. So I kind of do that, like I do this mental thing when I drive. Like if I'm coming back from Ocala, I know that Highway 40 is exit 352.
Okay.
Which is also our area code. Isn't that cool? 352. Okay. So, and 3052 on the phone is FLA. So it's Florida. So we are the heart of Florida.
Okay.
Did you ever put the two together?
I did not.
All right, so I always know it's 352. Okay, so if I'm coming from Orlando and I'm thinking, oh my God, now I got to get back to Ocala, I'll look at the mile mark and say, oh, okay, it's now only 40 miles, you know, and I'll know sort of. And so I'm a mile marker nerd, I guess. And all the other signs can go, you know, all the signs on the highway. Did you ever see that one about the Sikh religion? The 7th biggest religion in the world.
No.
Now, why would that change somebody's religion?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I haven't seen it.
7th biggest?
More marketing.
What am I? What is mine? You know? Anyway.
I have no idea.
I can read these signs now. That's my point.
Very good. So you can see the mile markers.
And the blimp, I could read. There was a, what do you call those things?
The Goodyear blimp.
Yes. It had a message on it, and I could read it.
Ah.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
Yeah. And we went to see Gotti, and I could read all those little things, which was, you know, okay.
Which was good. You're having a good time with your eyes.
That's what we like to hear.
This is why we do what we do.
It is.
I say that often.
So for everybody else, just please go have your eyes checked. You will be surprised what you didn't realize you lost over all these years. Thank you, Nikki and Shannon. I should say your last names: Nikki Nix and Shannon Rains. You ladies are amazing. Have a great weekend and everything. So we'll see you next week, right? Before the 4th of July.
Before the 4th.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. The Marion County School Board will vote today to decide how their public school resource officers will be funded this coming year. The school board is considering 56 school resource officers between 3 different agencies at a cost of about $3.8 million. Volusia County Sheriff's deputies say a Port Orange woman was arrested after she allegedly tried to abduct 2 children.